What's happening? What's up? What's good? Today in this video, I'm going to be interviewing somebody that's really close to me, a fellow moving company owner, a friend, a mentor, Jesse from Sherpa Moving in OKC, as well as Sherpa Coaching and Consulting. Really appreciate you, Jesse, for sitting down with me for an hour and chopping it up about the moving industry. You're awesome. Really thankful to have had you in my corner over the last 6 years. Anybody who follows the channel, this is going to be a new series that we do, the Moving Hustle Playbook, where I feature other moving company owners and people that have been in my corner to try to give you guys as much game and knowledge as possible to set you up for success in the moving industry. Before we hop into the video, first things first, shout out to all the subscribers. Really appreciate everybody rocks with the channel, likes my videos, and subscribes. Y'all are dope. So this is going to be episode 1 of the Moving Hustle Playbook with Jesse Sherpa. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Do me a favor, hit that like button at the end.
Can hear you, man. What's up? What's happening?
Well, I'll just first and foremost say it's great to see you, sir.
You as well, my friend.
And what are you? Does OpenPhone have you on payroll?
They might.
I mean, that's cool. And dude, we could talk about we should plug that in here because it's an amazing tool. Um, it's been great for us. Um, but we almost never have any problems with it. It was strangely a little glitchy this morning with some things, but that was the first time anything's really done that ever really. The what's the thing? What's is it? Sona is the AI thing
Yeah, the Sona, that's the AI agent.
that that's not. It's this is an interesting discovery. Um, that doesn't seem to fit very well into our market.
Mhm.
Come to find out, it's like, hey, the people in Edmonton and Oklahoma City aren't willing to get down with a robot on the phone. And to me, being from there makes total sense.
Yeah, I think
But
it is. It can be definitely be like a market specific thing. You got to
think a
think about
bigger city,
certain markets don't want to talk to anybody who's from another country as well, right?
a
So,
million percent.
right.
That's
So it's
huge.
understanding your market. You're in OKC. You know the type of people that are from OKC and Middle America. It's a different culture.
And our age demographics probably even a little older too.
Hmm.
Um, so that's going to play a big part in both of those things, robots and foreign sounding people. Those types of things don't really mesh well with the people we're moving in and around Oklahoma City. Um, but yeah, anyways, we were talking about OpenPhone. So, but all in all, it's been great. And the Sona thing is, it's not even a disappointment. I mean, it just it doesn't seem to really work for us. But everything else about it's great, and still netting everything and that's coming in, and we're not missing anything. And it's just a really great consolidated system. I love it. I really love it. And we appreciate the help that you have provided us with that too, man, for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely,
Like,
man.
thank you so much.
It's all about improving the process, right? And streamlining things. And I mean, you're working remote right now, right? You're in NYC. Um, so having your systems and your processes in place definitely help you out. Um,
Massively. And it's not just me working remote either. Like, the two main people running this company are working remote from a long distance. I'm here in New York City, in Brooklyn, and my sales manager, Brittany, is in Florida.
oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, but hey,
So yeah, man. So it's just interesting. You must really trust your team.
I do. I do deeply. It doesn't mean that. anyone's perfect or anything like that, and nor is anyone aiming for that. Like I don't want to sit here and make it sound like we don't have your similar, everyday kind of problems and stuff that moving companies have, small businesses have, any business has, um, especially that requires a lot of people to operate it. Um, Very people driven service. Um, but no, like these guys, these guys deliver. It's just, yeah, last summer, coming off of last summer, had a lot of struggles with my operations manager back then and just all kinds of things. And when I let him go, um, whoever was still standing became the new, like the next gen, like the new core team. Like whoever was still standing after the dust cleared from separating with the old ops manager and whatever employees went along with him. It was mostly people that he brought in, of course. Birds of a feather flock together. So, like I'm saying though, whoever was still standing at the end of that has stayed, and those guys that stayed have been incredible. They've been incredible. They are low maintenance, but we're in our Slack group this morning, and I do have an operations manager on the ground. They're not just by themselves. Need to make that very clear. They're not just by themselves, but still got movers leaving trash in trucks, so their colleagues are having to throw it away the next day, and just shit like that, you know. Um, but still, by and large, big picture, like man, yeah, got a reliable crew out there that understands that they have a standard to uphold, you know. And even though I'm here, like they value their jobs and they know I'm dialed into this still every day. So like, there's a lot of reciprocity there, like they respect me, I respect them. They want to do a good job. Like they don't want to disappoint anyone, and neither do I. So I take very good care of my employees like I always have. And there's just that it's that culture that keeps everyone together, and kind of keeps everyone on the same page. And 8 times out of 10, man, just nothing even really has to be said. Like we book the jobs and they go and do them. And then, there's your kind of periodic maintenance as you go along. But yeah, definitely a lot of trust. Dave, man, how much trust you have to have, especially with moving. I've had thieves working for me. I mean, we've seen it all, man. We've seen it all. So there does have to be a very high level of deep trust, um, between the leadership and the team, and they've got to be synergized so we can all kind of work in harmony here. But I can say the 6 years I've had Sherpa moving, this has probably been the best summer just all around. Revenue's a little down as it has been for this whole year so far, but we're still maintaining a strong profit margin, and we are have a streamlined operation, and we continually are implementing improvements and changes to make things better. Um, and I feel like when the market improves and some of the efforts that may have even been lagging the last couple of years, like with marketing or business development, that we're really driving into really hard right now, like going into 2026, like that has me excited. Like I'm really looking forward to next year for sure. um, with this current team and this current system we have, and just even, and it's only July, so like I'm not, hell, I'm excited to see what things are going to be like in October. Forget 2026, like things have been evolving here very quickly. And so, we're just hoping the market conditions kind of evolve with it, which it seems like the real estate market in general is getting a little better, got more of a buyer's market. Last time I checked, like last week, the interest rates were like 6.5%, give or take. And there's a lot more inventory, but I just feel like there's just a lot of jitters out there. Like people are just kind of like, what the fuck is going on? You got the tariffs, you've got the media, we're just, it seems like we're all getting bombarded right now. And it doesn't matter whose side you're on, there's nothing to do with that. It's just we're all getting bombarded, regardless of where we stand, So um very much looking forward to hopefully seeing the world kind of stabilize a little bit, just have some kind of stability, and consistency, I think is what most of us are looking for. Um, but yeah, man, what about you? How's business for you?
Things are good, man. You're starting year six right now. I think we kind of started around the same time. And I mean, I've known you since I've started my
Yes.
business. I reached out to you very early. I was fortunate enough to be able to Google you and you just popped up. And I'm like, this is a guy that I want to be connected with. Anybody that's watching the channel or has watched it over the last couple of years, we've done an interview before and I've introduced you. But anybody that doesn't know, Jesse has mentored me over the last 6 years, and has been great, just kind of guiding me and being somebody to talk to, right? Um, so our business is kind of, I mean, this is your second moving company. This is my second moving operation as well. So they kind of started at the same time. So I'm where you're at right now. I'm really excited for 2026. I feel like this is the best and most cohesive unit that I've had as far as my movers and my team goes. I feel like the brand is really taking off this year. Everything's in the right place. All the processes are in place. We're creating new processes every day, and the market isn't what I expected it to be this year. But that's the talk of the town, right? Every moving company owner that I'm talking to right now is kind of experiencing the same thing, right? We
Yeah.
expected, more people to buy homes, but things are a little bit shaky out there, coming off the tail end of an election, and
Yep.
we live in this like insane like political environment right now. So hopefully all that
Oof.
just kind of dies down, right? And everybody can kind of focus on their lives again. Uh,
Maybe, maybe not. Probably not.
Probably not, probably not, but
Not to
no,
sound pessimistic,
yeah, but
because I'm
things are
certainly
good, man.
not.
Things are good at Headband. Went through the merger, um, brought a partner on, and he's doing, really great things for the company on the back end, working, handling the finances, handling all the things that I don't want to focus on.
Nope.
I'm an operations guy. I've done over 8,000 moves myself, so I understand what it is to be a mover and, how to work with movers alongside movers. And so I get to focus on operations for at least the rest of this year. And then I'll get to focus on the fun stuff, business development, building relationships, and, taking the brand to the next level. And since we're on that, I mean, you started to build relationships for this company right away, right? You weren't putting a whole lot of money into advertising. You seen the value in reaching out to the community and building relationships from the beginning.
Well, yes. Now that David, I'm so glad you brought that up, because business development is very easily overlooked. And I certainly overlooked it with my first company. And this was something that I learned. So it's not like, oh, I'm a business genius. I'm going to go and build all these relationships because I know that that's the right thing to do. I don't want to put all my money and eggs in the digital marketing basket. So I'm going to go and hit the pavement. I'm smart. I already know all these things. Like, no, I had to learn. I had to learn that. I had to be taught that. Luckily for me, my first company, Veteran Movers NYC, that is still operating today, that I sold to Roadway Moving, based in the Bronx in New York City. A lot of guys out there know who Roadway is. Um, I became friends with the owner in 2013, about 5 years before I ended up selling my company to him. And I learned a lot from this man, obviously. Ross Sapir, that owns Roadway, built this beast of a company. And he he did it through building relationships. And so after I sold the company, took a year off, moved to Oklahoma City, my wife, who I just married at the time. Um, I went into that with that new knowledge. I'm like, because he told me one day when I was sitting in his office, he was like, Jesse, you get 60% of your business from Yelp. And this was when Yelp was massive, and Yelp was huge here in New York City. It was huge. Everyone was living and dying by Yelp, hardcore. Even Ross at one point, until it clicked for him one day, and he's like, "Dude, fuck Yelp." And I don't need all of that because there's so many other marketing and business development opportunities out there. I don't have to put all my eggs into this basket that Yelp's creating this like funnel to where all the businesses have to use them. So like he kind of evolved out of that. But he told me one day, he was like, dude, 60% of your business comes from Yelp. What if something happens to Yelp? And like, that was all I needed to hear. Like a lot a lot clicked with that. So going into Oklahoma City when I started when I started Sherpa, with just more knowledge, more experience, more intention. I knew what I was getting myself into because I did it with Veteran Movers. I did a good job, but I didn't have like the institutional knowledge to bring into Veteran Movers. I just had like, here's your truck, here's Google Calendar, here's the job, here's 3 moving pads, here's 2 4-wheel dollies, go move this shit. That's all I really knew. I didn't know anything really about business and the inner workings and how much is involved. Like, wow, right? Like, there's a lot involved. Holy moly. And it gets tiresome and tedious. But I go into Sherpa with this, with more knowledge. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to start a Google business page and do all of that and kind of get the ball rolling because it is essential. It's just part of a bigger tool bag. But I'm going to put my focus on the $75 business cards and my business casual attire, and I'm going to get in my car and I'm going to go walk into brokerages because I know from being taught and from making mistakes that this is vital. And this is also the lowest hanging fruit. Man, I have had much success just like peeking my head into a brokerage, and it just so happens like there's 3 people sitting there, and they're all the most important people in the brokerage, and they see my head pop in there, and they're as intrigued as I am. They're like, "Who's this?"
Yeah,
And I'm like,
absolutely.
"Who's this? Are you guys busy? No, come on in." You know, 6 years ago, got the whole brokerage working for us. We're working for them. We're doing social media cross promotion. Just dude, just this is you have to really act as if there's no internet. You have to act as if there's no internet, and you're not going to get another single moving job unless a real estate agent is referring you. or or past clients referring you. Word of mouth is obvious, massive, but you want it to be like where that's almost your only source of revenue is are these relationships you're building. And dude, that's a huge job in itself. It's very daunting. You have to have pipeline, you have to have tracking, you have to have a follow-up system. It's easy to go and bebop around town and walk into offices and stuff, but it's a whole nother ball game to apply a system to it. Oh yeah, I'm good at business development. Well, you're good at starting and creating and maintaining relationships, but maybe you're also like not good at tracking or following up or uh, maintaining the integrity with your referral program. Like, dude, because that it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work to like monitor and track and measure what you're getting from all of these referral partners. But you also, you don't have to think about all of it at once either. Like best thing to do is just put your best foot forward and put on your business cash and get your stack of business cards and go hit the pavement and worry about tracking and shit later. Just make sure you're doing that because that's the lowest hanging fruit right there is your real estate agent. I would much rather I would rather go somewhere that I know I'm going to have referral sources. I would rather just go there and spend the 5 or 10 uncomfortable minutes to break the ice than sit in my office chair waiting on leads to come in from Google when I just opened. And I've started out with a $3,000 warehouse rent, you know, and I've got $800 on the books for the whole month.
Dude,
Like,
it's insane.
like where's your business going to come from?
Yeah, hit the
You got to
pavement.
go get it. You got to go get it. The
That's what I
internet's
tell
just
guys all the
there's
time,
just
man.
one little thing.
Yeah. Unless you have like a big bag, right? Like you're coming into this industry with tens of thousands of dollars just to blow on marketing, to blow on your brand, right? Like hit the pavement, get out there, make yourself uncomfortable, knock on as many doors
Yes.
as you possibly can. My guys are out there right now doing promo. I got two guys out there. They're hitting 100 houses today, right? Do we
That's
have
what,
to do that? No,
yes,
I could
brother.
probably take that payroll dollar and put it into advertising, but I'd prefer my guys to get out there and feel like they're contributing to the business, right?
And I think that contributes to well, a million percent that. And that's going to contribute more to like longevity,
Hmm.
you know. Oh, I could save the few dollars on that now, but they're out there getting you business, Like why wouldn't you invest in that? And you said 100 houses?
Yeah, they'll hit about 100 houses today.
I mean, dude, that's ridiculous. And
It's not
I've got
it's not costing me a lot of money, three or $400 in payroll, maybe,
exactly,
if that. And then
exactly.
the boxes and the flyers, what, $100?
That sounds way cheaper than a Google budget where you're to even for it to even make any sense, you're starting at $2,500.
Yeah,
For it to make even any sense, that's like 2,500 a month on Google is like entry level. That's just to get the ball rolling. And it's a shit ton of money.
yeah.
Like how many move jobs do you have to do to net $2,500 to net?
Yeah, I feel like Google's built for big businesses, right? And we
That's
we
what
know
it's that
we
seems
know the
like what
names
it's
of
grown
those
into.
businesses, right? So
Yeah.
like they'll dump 100,000 into Google in a month, right? But they got a
Yes.
30 truck operation, so they're closing at what, 40, 35, 40% if they're lucky. I don't even know that. I wouldn't even, I imagine that's probably hard to do for 30 truck operations, but they're dumping a lot of money into it, man. A lot of money into it. That's why it's
Those are the I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
yeah. No, you're good, man. This is just That's why it's so important to understand that it's just not digital advertising. That's not the only avenue that can lead to generating business for your moving company.
1,000,000%. And those guys with those $100,000 Google budgets, they don't they don't experience what the real estate market's doing. They're busy all the time. Roadway, Roadway grows 30, 40%, sometimes even more year over year. They were $40 million last year, and they're going to 60 this year.
They're a massive
Like,
operation.
I
You know,
mean,
but here, the thing about Roadway is, all right, so like Ross is running a really dialed in operation, and I'm an outsider looking in, but he was one of the first moving company owners to really understand influencers on social media,
he definitely
right?
he
There was
definitely was a trailblazer with
right,
that.
so there's other guys in the space that recognize that, but you know, over the last 5 years that I've been following this company, and I follow hundreds of companies, right?
Yes,
And
you do.
if you have a major operation out there, my eyes are on you. I'm watching your social media. I'm watching your content. I'm absorbing as much information as I can. But I've
I
been
love
watching,
that about you, by the way.
right? Like that's just how my brain works. Like I'm that dialed into the moving.
I know you are. I love that.
But it's allowed me to take the company, to this point that it's at right now. But just watching Roadway do it, so they might put a lot of money into advertising because they have the money. So why wouldn't you? But also they recognize the importance of social media, and they understand
Huge.
the importance of influencers. Especially, I understand it's also a market thing. Like if you've lived in LA or New York or maybe Chicago or San Francisco, it's just an entirely different culture and environment. There are influencers there, like actually people that have influence on social media. So it's not for every market. But I do
Sure.
see like, your mom and pop shop moving companies working with local influencers and stuff like that on Instagram and TikTok. But, um, I think that it's a balance of, traditional marketing, digital marketing, relationships, social media. I really feel like you got to try to incorporate a little bit of everything.
No, 100%, 100%. And social, I love, when I say I love social media, it really just means I love Instagram. I've never been a huge social media guy. Like, I never had Facebook until I think they made it, I guess Facebook bought Instagram or something. And it got to where you had to have a Facebook account to have Instagram. So up until that point, I never even had Facebook. And I started my first Instagram page in 2018 and fell in love with it immediately. I was like, this is a sick branding tool. And you can really get in front of a lot of people. You get a lot of information to you. It's very simple. Like I really and I've always enjoyed Instagram. So it was always fun for me to do engagement because you have to engage a lot when you are trying to grow a brand, especially like on Instagram. And man, it helps so much when you can get connected with even a small local influencer in your market, like, because of course it's, we mimic who's doing things and that appear to be, uh, that appear to work well and it makes sense. It's like, so yeah, where I see Ross doing the influencer stuff, I want to do it because it makes sense. So everyone else. So like whatever like micro influencers were or are in Oklahoma City, like we've moved them for sure. And we've moved a couple of influencers out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, an hour and a half away from Oklahoma City, just in the last couple of months. Um, so like all that is there. And if if you're listening to this right now and you're curious, like, well, how do I get influencers? Well, there's like two ways. Like it's either organically, which obviously is great when they come to you, like, hey, you want to swap content for moving or give me a massive discount or whatever. And it's like, you look, you do your research and you're like, sure. You got to set up the parameters and the deliverables and everything. And there has to be a lot of integrity there because let me tell you, even the biggest influencers, the million plus followers, 5 million, whatever, massive influencers, even people like that, and they also have management companies too, to be
Yeah.
fair. But unless you really keep your finger on them, they will not deliver
Oh,
what
absolutely.
they agree to,
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
which is crazy. There's a lot of work that goes into the
The-
into
the-
the
the-
influencer stuff.
do your research. So
Definitely.
I've had influencers within my market reach out to me, and you can look at somebody's profile and they could have 50,000 followers, but do they really? Do they really have,
You need to look at their likes. If they've got
right?
3 likes, then they don't have
Right,
50,000
or the
followers.
comments, and you got to understand where those comments are coming from.
That
So
too. Yeah.
I had an influencer jump in our inbox, and she had moved from Chicago to Denver. Well, her following is in Chicago. She's a massive influencer in Chicago, right? And she's a realtor as well, but she's new to the market here in Denver. So does it really make that much sense for us to give her a free move? Because you really got to understand her ecosystem and the people that are subscribed to her and following her and commenting on her pages. Now, we've had success with like food influencers in the Denver area. Everybody loves food.
Sure.
So, these people are local. They're going to all the local restaurants and that the people that are following their page are local to the area. So, don't just do your research. That's all I want to suggest. If you're going to
I
work with
love
them,
that.
you work with it and then set up those parameters, right? Like, hey, this isn't going to be a full move, but I'll give you 50% off.
Yes.
You
Doesn't
keep
have
it
to be free.
right, exactly. And then you keep the short or whatever on your page for a week or whatever it is, right? A lot of people don't like to mix their personal brand with a moving company, you know, out of all of the types of businesses out there. Um, but just be aware if you're going to work with influencers, do your research, set up the perimeters, and it has to make sense for you as well as them.
And they have to deliver.
They have to deliver. Yeah.
And 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 so I was saying they can either come to you organically, which is awesome, or shoot them a DM or an email. Ross has a marketing person that she's got this whole influencer thing down to like a science. So yeah, you reach out, direct contact. I mean, that's another cool thing. Well, and I know that like messages fall into different inboxes and stuff too, but
Hmm.
you can reach out to these people and say, hey, I have this awesome moving company. Like, we're a unique brand. We're not just like two, John in his truck, and like we're an actual brand. We're an actual moving company. Look at all of our reviews. If you're going to be moving anytime soon, let us know. We would love to collab. It's usually that easy. And this is what these influencers do. They do. They're leveraging their influence. So anyone reaching out to me directly, offering me a discount from the jump, you know, I'm gonna definitely have that in my back pocket. They're probably gonna be hitting you up.
So, man, what else you got going on? I know you're running the operation remote.
Well, man, life's been interesting. Just with the way we're running Sherpa right now has been great and very fulfilling. But I'd say probably a slight pivot from that would be my coaching business because I've been I've been my 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 vision has me being a life and business coach long term. And this all started a couple of years ago. I already took great pleasure and joy, like coaching and collaborating with my colleagues such as yourself. I think I deeply am appreciative and gives me a very warm feeling being referred to as a mentor. But I feel like that could be a little generous too, because I'm just here to help. And David, you've helped me a lot too, you know, and that's the cool thing about a collaborative relationship that you're going to have with a coach, you know, is everyone's going to learn something from each other.
Yeah,
And that's what I love. And that's why I'm so passionate about coaching. And I'm in the middle of my certification too. My certification lies more deeply in like life coaching. Life coaching is much different than, you know, like specific business coaching. Business coaching is a little, I, th- I think the line between like coaching and consulting can get a little bit blurred
absolutely.
when it comes to the business aspect. Because when you're dealing with business owners, it's like they they need answers kind of like now. Like I need to figure this out now. Whereas like life coaching is like I am provoking you to find your own answers that you already have inside. And we can blend those things together with business coaching too. It's like you already know the answer to this. Like I want to hear it from you. Like you know what to do, you know? So or is it like you need to do this? You know, that's more like that's a little bit more consulting. And to me, like it's a little bit, I don't know if like easier is the right way to say it, but it's a lot easier though in general, like fundamentally to give someone advice. Anyone can give anyone advice, you know, and you should do this and you should do that, you know. But like but coaching, like like life coaching, not business coaching, but like life coaching, there's an art form to that. So like that's why I'm in the certification program for it. And the clients that I actually, and to be totally transparent and honest, like the coaching clients that I have right now are way more life coaching than business. We're not really they're not business owners. So that's not really what we're talking about. We talk about work and stuff, yes, because that's a big part of people's lives. But but no, back to that. I'm in the certification program, and it's through what would be considered like one of the best life coaching programs in the world. It's called Coactive Training Institute, CTI, and I'm about halfway through it. And it's definitely been the most rewarding thing I've ever ventured into. And the scariest thing I've ventured into as well. All I all I really truly know in life, work wise, um, is moving. I barely graduated high school, got lucky, went off to the Marines, got out of the Marines, did this, did that, made it to New York City in late 2007 with a few dollars. I had like $800 in my pocket and didn't know shit. I was 24, about to turn 25, and 6 months later, found a moving gig on Craigslist because Craigslist was big back then, especially here in New York. And that, long story short, that moving position I found on Craigslist and that company, very small company, cash only. They didn't even take credit cards. They didn't have a operating license. They were fly by night. But they were a wonderful company with wonderful people working for it and that did great work. And it's kind of a thing around New York City too, is like it's super regulated. So there's a lot of under the radar companies,
Oh,
lots,
absolutely.
you know, but that doesn't mean they're bad at all. Some of my best friends that I still have to this day, like I met working at this company, but that my life changed in a matter of 4 days working at this company. Because when I started, I had $40 to my name. And 4 days later, I had $1,500 to my name in cash. And I'm this knucklehead in Brooklyn that didn't know shit, that in a matter of 96 hours uh, secured financial independence. At least financial independence on where I was in life. It's like, holy shit, I can, and that was 6 months too. Like, it took me 6 months to find that. And that whole 6 months, I struggled. Told you I had $40. I'm in Brooklyn, $40. Brooklyn don't mix, not here. I was scared, and I was thinking I was probably going to have to move away. And God knows, back to LA or back to Oklahoma City, like, holy shit, like, well, what is the meaning of this? But that changed my life, and I started, and I continued to work for that company for about 3 years, and started Veteran Movers in 2011 with like $4,000. I had just come back from a super long backpacking trip, because the way we would do it, me and my buddies that worked for this company, we would work our asses off all summer, make tons of cash. Like, the way that this company paid us is absurd. And I won't get into it. Our time is limited, but we were making bank. We were young guys, so we were making bank, and we would save up all of our money and go travel all winter. And not all of us together, but we'd each have our own little kind of mission, what we were doing. But that's what we would do. We'd save up our money and like literally go down to South America for like months, 5 months, 6 months. I traveled through Latin America overland by bus, started in Guatemala, got a one-way ticket there, and went south, overland, every country. Man, I was out for like 7 months. And it was during that time when I was out, I was in Colombia. And I had that moment, like, what's next? And I've evolved, and I want more out of life. And I know that I can't just keep doing this. It's fun, but I can't just keep doing this. Not to mention, my back is fucked because I've been moving full time like a beast for the last 3 years, and I'm 20, like 8. I was like 27, 28, and not should not be feeling like this. So, like, what's next? I want stuff. I need stuff. I want a life. I want a bigger purpose. So, like, I guess this just means I'm going to go, like, when I'm done with this trip, I'm going to go back to New York and I'm going to start my own company. And I'm a vet. And I thought that it seemed like this all happened like all in about like a 5 minutes or something in my head. Get this like epiphany, and then I'm like, okay, this is the next thought. This is the next thought. And then I'm like, oh, and I'm going to call it Veteran Movers, because I'm a vet and I can hire other veterans, and clients are going to know what they're getting. And this is going to be great. And it was. I went back and I started it, and it only seemed about like a year later, started turning a profit. Took about a year or so. But I do remember, man, I remember the first time I counted money. I counted real money, like that wasn't going to go back out the door, net. And I counted it, and I was like, I could live with this. And so I keep going, and that's when it seemed like the further along I went with that company, like the harder it got, but not because the company was hard to operate. It's because, again, going back to, like, I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, the bottom line, that's the bottom line. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. So I learned a lot, and I didn't have a long-term vision for it. And I was just like, got burnt out. And at about it was like year 6, 7 is when I'm like, I call up Ross and I'm like, hey, like, dude, I'm running out of gas over here. Like, I'm sick of this shit. Like, I'm having to make some changes that just are not sustainable. Like, I think I'm fucked. Like, I know you're looking to acquire other companies. Like, what do you want to do? Is there a deal to be made here? He was like, I was going to ask you if you wanted to sell your company like today. Because he had a business broker working for him that he was sending out, this mysterious man. I loved this guy. But he the next day he like sent this guy over to the office and like gave me this letter. And it was basically an offer, just long story short. And I was just like, shit, all right, let's do this. Like, I'm done. I'd made some massive, like, ill thought changes that were just devastating to the company. And in retrospect, I think that I could have kept it going, but in back then in that moment, it seemed impossible. So I sold the company to Ross and took a year off, just kind of figuring things out. I just got married and we were living in Queens, and it was nice. It was nice just to honestly, like, it was nice to like sit on the couch most days and watch TV during the day. It was like, this is okay. I feel kind of like actually feel kind of relaxed. I used to smoke cigarettes and it was crazy. Like the morning after we closed on the company, I haven't smoked since I signed the contract with Ross. It was
This is,
weird. I didn't even try. Like I just literally woke up the next day and just never smoked another cigarette.
yeah, your body's like, I don't need this anymore. I'm not dealing with this level of stress and this burn,
Yeah, it was just
this fatigue.
yeah, it's crazy. It was crazy. But man, but that was just the beginning to a new chapter. And things weren't like any like easier, so to speak. I just had a lot more knowledge and frankly maturity to continue to move forward because I'm 42 now, and lo and behold, like, it does require a fairly high level of maturity to get ourselves through some of these things that we have to deal with as business owners.
Yeah. Let
Yeah,
me
it
ask you
does.
something. What do you have any advice to anybody a moving company owner who's experiencing that level of stress or that level of burnout? Because you've gotten phone calls from me over the last 6 years, and helped put things into perspective for me. Do you
Sure.
have any sort of advice for anybody? Because moving's not for everybody. You're really built for this, or you're not. Um, you can be not built for this and learn it over time, but owning a moving operation can be a very stressful and taxing thing. So if you have any advice for anybody that might be experiencing that stress or that burnout.
I do. I've got some great advice. Don't give up. Number one, like like David said, like, maybe it's not for you, and maybe it is the end, and maybe you do have to accept that. I've been there, but you also don't want to regret things either later. So don't give up. And that's number one. Just please don't give up. Like, there's there's always, and quoting one of my first amazing of one of many amazing employees I've had over the years, but to quote one of my first employees, and I remember it like it was yesterday, texting him on my couch in my apartment, actually just across this neighborhood I'm in right now, where I started Veteran Movers out of. I had some shit going on, and it was early on, and it was like whatever the shit it was really expensive, and it didn't, like, nothing seemed like uh, uh, sustainable because of this, whatever this was that was expensive, that was a surprise that I was having to deal with. And I'm like texting him and I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know if this is going to work. And he said one simple thing to me. He said, there's always a solution. And that resonated, that stuck with me forever. And I love that guy too, man. He was Daryl. Holy shit, that guy's amazing. But he said that to me, and I've always carried that with me. Like there is always a solution. Unless you're done, then you're done. But if you want this to work, like we can make it work. And chances are you're not going to be able to do it alone. You need to find people that can help you, whether it be a colleague on Instagram that you can reach out to, like David did me. David's very smart like that. Um, or if you hire a coach like myself, I can help you. We do business audits. We do marketing audits. We do operational audits. We like to dive into the inner workings of businesses so we can see like what can be improved, where the solutions are. And when I say we, I mean my marketing specialist, my bookkeeper, my resources that help me do all of this consulting work and give people the products that they need to grow and succeed. Because guess what? If you can't, if you couldn't guess, like I've done it myself. I actually spent $60,000 on consultants in 2023. And here we are, that's 3 years into Sherpa. And I talk about going into Sherpa with all this experience and blah, blah, blah. Well, I did. But that doesn't mean that there's always just some like glass ceiling or some kind of plateau you're going to hit or something. Not everyone, okay, not everyone. Some people are very gifted and like I get it. Everyone's different. But most of us, like, you're going to run out of knowledge. You're going to run out of gas. You're not going to be able to see blind spots. Like, you're going to be running yourself in circles. You're going to get burnt out. You're going to stop putting effort into things, and things are going to slow down or, or at best, plateau. And that's kind of where I was in 2023. I'm like, because I built Sherpa quick, especially for such a small market. Like I was bumping 1 million after 3 years. Like it was around 900 or so, dude, in a tiny market in Oklahoma City. But like, but it, but it was getting to a point where it's like I was kind of doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same results and not all of the results being desirable. And so I remember was early in January. Like it was. I feel like I remember the day. It was like January 5th, and I was like in my office, and I had my journal out, and I'm like, I don't want this year to be the same as last year. Like, and to quote Ross Sapir at Roadway, very important, everyone here. I don't want old problems. I want new ones. So I didn't want 2023 to be a repeat. Even though things are good, things are not good enough. And there are visible issues here that I don't either have the courage or the bandwidth to attack. So I need help. So I hired these consultants who I'd already had referred to me by another colleague of ours who owns a massive company, another big company in Kansas City and Denver. David, you know who they are.
Yeah.
And the owner of that he was like, dude, you should call these guys. They came in and just really cleaned us up. Because even big, successful, amazing companies hire consultants. That's why there are consultants.
Yeah, absolutely.
The best companies hire consultants because we are not arrogant enough to say like I don't need help, you know. Like,
Yeah, I
no.
mean, I paid a CPA last year almost $40,000, right, to come in to the operation and just adjust some things and put some things into perspective for me.
Yes, some
You know, it's
tools
yeah,
probably, like some maybe some like cash flow tracking sheets and shit like that, to where you can see how much you're gonna have in the bank in like 6 weeks from now, which is, and I'm like, oh wow, like I want that. But yeah, I hired help, and it cost me a lot of money, and it's come back to me like tenfold, like just from everything they taught me. And that was also back to like that was on the tail end of everyone getting ERC money, and they had some like third party attorneys that worked for them. This consultant group had these attorneys work for them that was getting their clients like ERC money. Dude, they got me more ERC money than their consulting fees. So like I basically didn't even pay for that shit. It was amazing. They changed my life. This dude was flying out every 2 weeks to be with me and my company, sitting with my ops manager, coaching him. He was interviewing all of my employees separately. Like, man, like a business, like having a business partner. And that's the kind of that's the kind of help we need. Like, if not like long term, at least periodically.
yeah, absolutely.
Like you always need to be able to like check in and make changes periodically, like that was in 2023. It's 2025 now. And I don't need that kind of help. And if I do, I know where to get it. I mean, I was actually on the phone with a whole different consultant who's a friend of mine yesterday, bouncing some ideas off of him. Some little like BD idea, biz dev ideas. So like I'm not. I always want the help. Bring me the help. I don't need to spend another 60K on consultants now. But I might in 3 years, when I'm trying to open up two more locations or something. I've never opened up a second location. There's a lot that comes with that. I need help with that. I want help with that. So don't give up and get the help you need. And I'll just kind of promote this here and now. Like, if anyone watching this were to come to me for help, I'm going to meet you where you are, and I'm going to work with you on pricing for sure. Because ultimately, I just want to help people. That's like my purpose in life. I have a, I don't, I have a life's purpose, but just the truncated version is I want to help people. That's all I want to do. But my time is valuable, and my experience is valuable, and I've invested a lot of money in myself. So that's why my time isn't free. But at the same rate, you succeeding is more important than me draining you. Because what's the point of hiring a consultant if they're going to drain you? That seems like counterintuitive to me. You're
Right.
supposed to
But
be like, you're
also,
supposed to be helping me make more money.
you're a consultant if you're not willing to change. So that's been my
Thank
experience
you.
and
Thank
why
you. That's
I'm
beautiful. That's a
taking a
beautiful thing.
step back from, because when I first started the YouTube channel, I'd have in a year, I'd have 100 plus people hit me up to ask me for advice, ask me for mentorships. And look, I'm available when I'm available. And, I have a purpose to serve the community and to help people and, level up in life. But if you come to me for help, a lot of times these people just come into me to solve a problem for them, right?
Right.
But if you come to me for help and I give you a play or a process to help your situation and you're refusing to execute it, you're refusing to change, then don't come to me for help or don't come back to me and with the same problem, right? If you didn't try to change the situation or, so I think it's really important if you're asking for help, You need to be open-minded. You have to be willing to change. And a lot of us can be stubborn and think that we know everything about everything, right? You've made millions of dollars in the moving industry. You know, you have a successful moving company, but you know, everybody can be better, but you have to be willing to take that step. I always just like to talk about that. I talk to other people
I
who
think that that's a really incredible point you brought up, man. Like, don't be the horse that won't drink. And if you don't think you need help, then don't ask for it,
yeah, absolutely.
you know? But yeah, especially to your point though, like if you are going to seek out that help, be ready for change. Especially if you are paying for it, then you really need to be geared for transformation, you know? Like I remember the first day I met my consultant when he came in, great guy. And jokingly, I was just like, "Where do you want me, coach? Just tell me what to do. I'm ready. I have no ego, nothing. I'm ready to change. I'm ready to change because whatever this version of me right here is, I don't like it. And this is not who I am. And I know where I want to be and I know who I really truly am. So I'm going to put the efforts into that." And man, that's, I love, that's why I am so passionate about coaching is because I get to work with people who are genuinely geared and excited and ready for change. Like, man, and it's it's fun. It's very fun and gratifying to see some of these things like resonating with people, and you can feel you can almost feel their transformation. They say emotions manifest physically. So man, you can really just like feel this stuff. I mean, I'm getting excited talking about it right now, you know. Um, but no, hit me up. My company's called Sherpa Coaching and Consulting. And if you don't know what a Sherpa is a mountain guide in Nepal. And um, honestly, it's actually a whole ethnic group of people that probably shouldn't be reduced just down to mountain guides because not all Sherpas are mountain guides. But in the Western world, that's what they're known as, the Sherpa. So like when you go to Nepal, you're going to hike Mount Everest or another hundreds of various peaks there. You're going to get a team of Sherpas that know the terrain, that are from there, that live there, and they're going to help you. They're going to help you up the mountain. They're going to guide you. They're not going to get up to the top and, you know, yell down at you, get up here. They're gonna be right beside you the whole way. So um, I'm a big hiker and trekker and mountaineer and all these things. So all the hiking and mountain valley metaphors and all of that really, really work for me, really resonate with me. So um, my moving company, Sherpa Moving, my coaching company, Sherpa Coaching and Consulting. So got this Sherpa brand going on. The website's up, thesherpacoach.com. A lot of information there, phone numbers there, whatever. If you're listening to this and you need some help, like, don't hesitate because I would be honored and privileged to be on a journey with you for sure.
I'll be sure to like include all the links and everything like that in the bio, and I'll do all the social stuff. I'm good with that. So
You are a wizard, my friend. And
yeah,
dude,
so
like, I appreciate you, brother.
yeah, man, I appreciate you, bro. You've been a blessing over the last 6 years, man, and helped me put a lot of things in perspective, and even helped me solve some problems. It's great to have a community, especially in the moving industry. It can be stressful for everybody, not just the client, but for moving company owners, dealing
Oh
with
my God.
teams, dealing with problems. Like,
We need all the help we can get.
yeah,
Like,
dude.
all of us, not just moving company owners. Like, we all need help, whether you know it or not. Whether you know it or not. We can't do this by ourselves. No one can. I'm self made. No, you're not. You did like I know what you built was from scratch and you made that. I understand that, but you did not do it by yourself. It would be virtually impossible to do anything by yourself. It may feel like it sometimes, but you're gonna always have to lean on someone for something, you know. So, spe- kind of back to your point, it's best just to be like open-minded and, you know, if you're curious about change and transformation, you know, then it's probably be for you.
Well, bro, I appreciate you as always, man, and taking the time to hop on this call with me today. I
Oh,
really
it's been
do.
fun, man. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeah, we got to do more of this. And anybody that's trying to get in contact with Jesse, Instagram, check the links in the bio. Set up a call with him. It could lead to something that could be beneficial to Jesse and yourself. So, well, much love as always, brother. Let's talk soon. I
Thank you, sir.
appreciate
And,
you.
and thank you for your service as always.
Yes, sir. You too, man. All right, brother.
And thank you for what you do for the industry too, dude. Like your moving company hustle and just everything you do, David. I really just appreciate it. Admire. I love you for it. I really do. I just think
Much
you're
love.
amazing, dude.
So, all right, brother. Tell the family I say hello.
All right, guys. Good luck.